Hey guys, Steve Bentley here, and I wanted to give you some quick updates on what happened over the last week when I did that 5-day fast. I've been getting some people asking me questions about that, why I did it, what they need to do the program properly, and so we're going to jump into that. So here, first of all, let's go over the results. I dropped about 12 pounds from the beginning to the end, so that's from Monday morning. I guess Sunday night I started, but I weighed myself Monday morning, took some measurements. Did that at the end on Friday, kind of late afternoon. And I had dropped 12 pounds by then, put a few back on today because I ate a fair bit last night. And I can't say a lot of stuff came out between then and now because your bowels will slow down as you go through a fast. That's just kind of normal. I'm sure that'll stabilize soon enough. But anyways, lost 1.5 inches off my chest, 2 inches off my belly. That's pretty cool. 1 inch off my waist, 1 inch off my butt or hips, I guess, depending on how you want to talk about that. And maintain the inches on my arms, maybe dropped about 1/4 inch, actually gained 1/4 inch on my thighs. But I have to admit, measuring arms and thighs are hard because they're different distances through the length of that limb, and it's hard to get the exact same point, so I don't really worry too much about that. I know a lot of times people think and worry about muscle loss during a fast. I didn't experience that. Number one, didn't feel like those muscle areas dropped at all during those 5 days. And number two, I worked out in the gym every day. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit more when we talk about exercise. And I felt just as strong, maybe even stronger as I went through the program, because as you do fasting, your body releases a lot of growth hormone. And I was certainly feeling that and the adrenaline as I was going through the program. Okay, as I got some notes here, so stay on track. So number one, what results did I get? Just sort of talked about those. I had tons of energy during the whole deal. And I'm used to doing intermittent fasting each day where I don't worry so much about eating right away in the morning. If I'm gonna have a really hard workout, I'll for sure eat something right afterwards, more as a recovery thing, because I wanna take advantage of that muscle breakdown that I've created when I did a hard workout, whether it's in the gym or out running or cycling or whatever it is that I'm doing on that particular morning. There's days where I'm gonna eat right afterwards by having a shake. I use an isogenic shake. I love the protein. I love the quality of the nutrition and the completeness of that meal. It's so simple. And I probably would have to spend 4 times as much as that $3 and something cent shake to get the same level of protein and nutrition in my system. And it just makes sense to get a couple of those in a day. If I'm not working out super hard in the morning, then I'm gonna not eat until later in the morning, usually sometime between 10 and 11 o'clock, I'll have that first shake, and then I'll just start to eat through the day, probably have another shake in the afternoon, and usually finish up eating around 7:30. So I kind of do that 8-hour intermittent fasting. I'm usually in bed by 8:30 at night because I tend to get up early, usually between 4:30 and 6:30 is kind of the range, depending on when Michelle has to get up to do a workout to go to work. Okay, so those are the results. Great energy. I actually have to say the Wednesday and Thursday night, as I was getting through days 3 and 4 of that fast, I actually had so much energy. I didn't feel like I could sleep that much at night, although looking at my sleep log for my Fitbit here, looked like I was sleeping okay, but it just felt like I wasn't sleeping a lot. I just felt like I was buzzing with energy. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Again, just increasing in energy as I went through the system. And again, great example of how food doesn't actually give you the energy when you're dialed in to accessing energy properly in your system. So my whole goal is getting fat adapted, not necessarily losing fat, although that happened during the program, but I'm always trying to get fat adapted so that I don't feel like I have to eat every couple of hours in order to fuel my body with energy, which is what happens when people are so hooked on sugar that that's where they're getting their energy from. And if their blood sugar drops, they feel shaky, they feel panicky, hangry, if you want to think about it that way. I don't get that way because I've been so fat adapted for so long. So number one, it's probably why I've had such an easy time going through this 5-day fast is because I am pretty fat adapted and I kicked into that accessing fat for fuel pretty easily. And I would recommend if you're gonna try something like that or this 5-day fast, that you get fat adapted first. There's a number of different ways of doing that. Message me if you want to find out a little bit more specifically on that. But it's there's things that you can do over time to help you with that. Okay, so I've been doing those fasting days for about 12 years now since I joined Isagenix and partnered with them to share those systems with people. And I've been doing 2-day fasts every other month regularly for the last probably 10 years. I did, first couple of years, I did a 9-day program, 2 days of cleansing, 5 shake days, 2 days of cleansing. Probably for about 2 or 3 years, did that 3 times a year. And then I dropped into that kind of doing a double cleanse day every other month. I've been doing that for a long time. Over the last probably year or two, I say we'll do a 3-day fast, maybe twice a year. And that's to really increase the regeneration of immune function and cells in your body. And I find that works really well for that. Very healthy. I've got great blood numbers, blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that. So been following kind of a low carb, higher healthy fat program, a little bit more specifically focused on that over the last little while. But in general, I'm about 20-25% carbs, 20-25% protein, and about 50% healthy fats. Just in general, that's kind of how I normally eat. So this is a really simple thing for me to do. When I went low carb and supported that with good nutrition from Isagenix and good macronutrients with the protein, it was an easy program to go through. And then this was just kind of an extension of that. So why would somebody do this? Got my little things here. I do it for cellular turnover because when you start to fast, your body panics, goes into autophagy quicker, so you're forcing the regeneration of cells that normally happens naturally in your body, but I want to force that on a regular basis, which is why I do those double cleansing days every other month. Not to lose fat per se, but I like to enjoy food and a glass of wine, so it's not like I'm going to be super lean like I was when I was racing, a couple decades ago. But you're going to gain a little bit of fat here and there. I'm going to use that to lean out a tad, but it's usually just a couple pounds here and there. I'm more focused on the cellular turnover and the healthy aging. I'm 53 years old right now. So for me, I want to make sure I'm staying healthy and getting that cellular turnover, and that makes a higher percentage of the cells that are in my body more vibrant, healthier, fresher, and newer, and more able to do what they're designed to do. If you don't do that fasting, what happens is those cells get old and inefficient, and they're tired, so they don't work as well. So that's why I like to do it. Fat adaptation kicks that in. When you fast, you're forcing your body to go in and access fat for fuel. You can do that overnight, right? That's why they call it breakfast. You're breaking the fast from not eating overnight. And then you can do intermittent fasting, which is carrying that on for a few more hours. We talked a little bit about that. And that's an easy thing to do regularly. At first, it kind of sucks because you're not used to it, but like anything, you can adapt to it. It's kind of like going out running and training for a marathon. When you first start, it's not so good and you're not great at it, and you think, I'm never going to get there, but you will if you just do consistently and you don't push it too much too quickly. And then the other great thing for doing that is sometimes it's easy to get hooked onto sugars. I don't think I've ever really been carb addicted, but a lot of people are. Sugar is a very addictive substance, so if you think you are carb addicted, then maybe going through a fast would be beneficial for you. I would check with your doctor if you've got any concerns. So if you've got things like diabetes or heart issues, or you're on medications that you think might be a concern because you need to eat things with those meds, you're pregnant or breastfeeding, or you've got any other medical concerns, blood pressure issues, I would totally check with your doctor before you tried something like this. I don't have any of that, so it was pretty simple for me to go do this, and I felt great going through the whole thing. Tracked my blood pressure, stayed actually perfect the whole time, got great fat loss results, inches lost, maintained my muscle mass from what I could tell from my scale and my strength in the gym, and my blood pressure was totally fine going through the program. I actually got a healthy wellness annual checkup in a couple of weeks, so it'll be interesting to see how my numbers look there. Okay, setup and prep. Let's see, I would, gosh, so many things you can do here. If you're concerned about your exercise routine, understand that I want people, if it was me, I would want them to actually exercise going through a fast to really force your body to burn glycogen, number one, and then force it to go in and access that fat for fuel. So depending on how athletic you are and what condition you're in, that's going to dictate kind of what you can do safely and comfortably. I've been exercising for a long time, so I didn't find being able to go into the gym and even go for a run hard at all when I went through the program. A little different. I felt like I had more strength at the front end of a set, but not maybe as much endurance. So where I'd normally have no problems pushing out 10 reps, by about the 8th rep, I was like, okay, this is getting a little more difficult than I'm used to, but I actually felt stronger at the beginning of the set, so that was kind of interesting. Some other prep things. I actually just left all the food that was in the house that I would normally have in here. I'm pretty strong mentally and focused and determined and intentional when I'm going to decide to do something. So I could look at all the food in the cupboards and the fridges here, and it wasn't a big temptation or an issue. So I work at home, so it's not like I wasn't around it. If that's going to be an issue for you, you probably want to get rid of some of that stuff that's going to be tempting to you. I just kept focusing on the benefits that I was doing this for and the reasons, because it wasn't just about what I was looking for. It was experiencing this so I could share the results with other people and help them get results down the road. Is potentially an option for how to get more fat adapted, burn through some fat, things like that. But if that's an issue for you, totally do that. Understand why you're doing it. Writing those things down might be quite important. Don't go to the grocery store. I went to the grocery store on Thursday, getting ready for putting some food in the house so I could cook dinner on Friday when I finished this, and that was tough. I'd probably say that was the hardest part of the whole deal, was going grocery shopping on Thursday afternoon, 4 days into this. Okay. So yeah, there's so many other things that you can do to prep for it. Getting your training out of the way the week before, so that if you can't train super hard the week during you're doing your fast, that you can take it a little bit easier, and it's not going to be as much of a hit mentally for you. That could be beneficial. Let's see. Here's what I took during the program. Woke up in the morning, had some black coffee, right? Just like I like coffee. Just make it black. You're gonna drink a fair bit of water because you wanna maintain hydration in your system, and as you stop eating, your body's gonna start to eliminate toxins as well. Because I'm using a cleansing drink from Isagenix called Cleanse for Life, and I wanna get that into my system regularly. So the normal amount would be taking half a canister or half a bottle a day. I probably took about half as much as normal, but I just wanted to get a little bit of nutrients and minerals coming into my system to support that toxin conversion. But I didn't want to get too much sugar in because I just wanted to dial it down a little bit. I really wanted to focus on the fasting component, not as much the cleansing. Took in some pink sea salt, so Himalayan salt. It's over there on the counter. But I just put that in my water, so a cup about this size of water, I'd probably put 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon in, depending on what you can handle for taste. Just put that much in, and then every once in a while I just put some right in the palm of my hand and lick that out, because I just wanted to get those electrolytes in my system regularly to keep my body in balance. I found if I got behind on that, I kind of tended towards getting a bit of a headache, but also felt a little uneasy and the energy just wasn't there. But as soon as I got that salt back in, bang, things started feeling really good. So just keep your body in balance. You're drinking a lot of water, so you're gonna be pulling minerals out of your system through diffusion. So you wanna make sure that you're getting more water in so you can force those minerals and that water into your system. So if you find that you're drinking a lot of water and peeing a lot, chances are you're not getting enough minerals in, so get that sea salt in. I took some Isagenix Accelerator capsules. Here's one here, kind of close by, so I would take that morning and noon, and then the Isoflush, which is just a bentonite clay and mineral product. I would take that, maybe a couple of those in the evening. That was it. I didn't want to get any other supplements in. I'd normally take an AM and PM pack from Isagenix, but I didn't want to do that through the program because I'm, again, limiting as much as possible what I was putting in my system and what it had to process and get through. But normally I would take those supplements every single morning and evening. That's it for what I took in during the program. No food whatsoever, no snacks, no anything. I just liquid coffee and those capsules, accelerators, and Isoflush, and then the water and the pink sea salt. That was it during the program. My exercise, I usually go to the gym about 4 days a week, and I maybe ride my bike once. And this time I went to the gym just as I normally would every morning. Felt great through those workouts. As I mentioned, stronger at the front end, maybe not quite as much endurance. Obviously, I'm pretty low in glycogen going through it. Maybe the first day, didn't notice anything different because I'd been eating over the weekend, but coming into, especially Wednesday, the third day, found that endurance part sort of waning off. Also went for a run on Wednesday, just a quick 30-minute deal. I don't know what I was doing, like 8:15 per mile. Nothing speedy, but not too slow. Just kind of cruised through it just to force my body to get into that fat burning zone. Kept it as aerobic as possible. And then did another 15-20 minute run at the end of everything on Friday after my weight workout then. I can't say I felt tired at all. Had good energy. My knee was a little sore, but I don't think that had anything to do with the fast. I think that was from doing weights just beforehand and working on some legs. Here's what I experienced and what you can probably expect. The sleep, I felt like had a hard time. I think I mentioned that. I think I had a hard time sleeping on the Wednesday and Thursday night. Monday and Tuesday night, no problem whatsoever. But I just felt like I was getting so much energy in the program that it's like buzzing with energy, and I just had a hard time settling down and getting into a good sleep mode. But looking at my watch, I looked like I got some pretty good sleep. Great energy through the whole deal. I felt like I was in balance. Everything went really good, and my mental focus was really dialed in. I just felt like I could notice things better, and my work was really good. So it's a good example there. When you eat things, your body kind of has to take that energy and process that food. But when you're not eating, you've got so much more energy to put towards other things. So like whether it's cleansing toxins from your body or regenerating cells or actually focusing on things, I really noticed that. My mindset, I'd say, kind of touched on that. It was really focused in to do it because I wasn't just doing it for my own benefit, but I was also doing it to see how I could help other people going through this program. So I was pretty focused and intentional in getting through it. What I found, it was so much easier to get through the first 2 days. So if you're having a hard time doing a 2-day fast or cleanse, man, when you think you're doing 5 days, those first 2 days are simple because you're like, man, I've got 4 or 5 days to go. I'm not gonna worry so much about the first 2. And by the time I got to the 3rd day, it's like, hey, I'm halfway there. That was pretty simple. And now it's just finishing it off. I found the last 2 days, even though I had lots of energy, but it was just like, okay, it's kind of a little boring now because I miss eating. I want to have a glass of wine at night, but I'm enjoying the benefits. I was watching my inches come down, pounds coming down. Yeah, I think that was about it. Not hard at all from that perspective, but again, I was doing it for more than just myself in my mind, so it made it a little bit easier. So if you're doing the program, don't just focus on you. If you can think about focusing on other people as well. You know, maybe it's your family and you're getting healthier and you're doing things that are going to help improve your health if that's why you're doing this, and releasing excess fat. How's that going to impact other people, and what are you going to be able to help them understand and know or learn coming through this? That's a really beneficial part of going through this. If you can take it away from yourself and put that focus on some other people as why you're doing things, that can certainly help. Mentioned the scale, my results. Yeah, I think I've gained a few pounds back, but more so just because I haven't had a bowel movement really since earlier in the week. And that's fine, like that's totally normal when you fast. There's no food coming in, so there's no reason for things to be moving through your system. As I started eating last night, things started moving around a bit, so I'll probably get back on track with that over the next day or so. I expect that I'm gonna gain some weight. I had some great panko crusted fried chicken thighs last night on a stir fry bed of vegetables. I just ate so much, it was so good. Had an isogenic shake earlier when I finished the deal, and you know, I've got all that stuff in my system still, so I'm totally cool with where I'm at. I got good results. The scale, if you're gonna measure things, you can hop on it and record your numbers, but understand you're doing it for so much more than accessing fat for fuel. I think I got such great results because I am so fat adapted. My body's used to going after that fat quickly for energy when I stop eating sugar. So, which is why I always suggest you do kind of normal fasting and cleansing for a while. Make sure you're dialed into that. Incorporate intermittent fasting. I really think that helped a lot because I got used to doing that. And then not eating for a period of time wasn't a big deal for me. I missed the fact of eating, but I didn't feel physically like I needed to eat anything at any point in time. Didn't feel any different on any day at any point in the day than I normally would in the morning from doing a workout in the morning and then waiting until later that morning to eat. I'm generally a little hungry. I never get concerned about being a little hungry because it's not going to kill me, and it's an indication to me that I'm on the right track and doing things. If I'm full all the time and I don't feel like I have to eat at all, that's probably a problem. And if you're trying to lose weight and you feel that way, and you maybe need to rework your macros, your calorie intake, or how and when you're eating. So that's just my opinion. So coming out of it, as I mentioned, I had a shake, and then I had a pretty good meal. You know, if you think you're gonna be concerned about how eating again is gonna impact you, then go easy as you first start getting things back into your system. I'd highly recommend a shake like Isagenix to replenish your system first, and then wait a little while, see how you feel, and then start to slowly add some things back in that are healthy, easy to digest, and gonna give you good nutrition to help replenish your system coming out of the program. So anyways, hopefully that was useful information. If you have any questions, just let me know, and happy to help guide you through the program because it's worked for me. I got great results, pretty happy with how I look and feel, and I think it was worth it. I could see doing this once a year for me. I don't really feel like I need to lose weight per se, but I like the benefits of focusing in there on that cellular regeneration and immune function. I think maybe a 4-day fast may be just as good for me in the future. 5 days worked fine too. 3 days, you're kind of just getting into, from what I understand from researching things, you're just getting into that really good immune regeneration, immune function regeneration. So 3-4 days, probably a pretty good length of time. I wouldn't find that too difficult, and probably a lot easier to fit into a program at any one point in time. But yeah, doing that every once in a while, for me, maybe once a year, maybe twice. I don't think I'd do it twice. But anyways, some things to think about. Hopefully that was useful info for you. And yeah, have a great weekend. Bye.